That's my new thing. It means I'm beaming in here from this bedroom I just painted. Now they're knocking out another room, and all that's left is the master bedroom, and we're getting the floors refinished. We're near the finish line here. So anyway, finish line up here, almost there. Those outlets haven't been replaced yet, but that's coming. Here we are, nice afternoon, late afternoon sun in downtown Buffalo, right? So I did a little unpacking this week, sort of. But yeah, this door's off because when they put the carpet in, I'm gonna have to sand the door down a bit, like it elevated it a bit, so the door doesn't shut properly. But that's a minor little thing compared to all the shit that I've been doing here and Patty's been doing in the background. And she's actually picked up a paintbrush this time. And the master bedroom, there's bookshelves on either side of the fireplace. Yes, there's a fireplace in there. It's kind of high end over here at MGK Estates. Speaking of, there's my old guitar lamp. Speaking of high end, there it is. Anthony, my friend Gambler 812, I got that thing at Savers in Wilmington, buddy. So I don't know if you ever hit up that Savers in Wilmington. Right beside my old town, Reading there. Get over there, do it, and check it out. Anthony, he's honorary employee at Savers. So anyway, what else? I've been listening to a lot of CDs because, again, just no time for unpacking because it's just constant painting and all that. But we're getting to the end. So I figure once we get into October, I can start to do some decorating and doing some stuff in here. There's my Triple Owl friend. He came out of the box. So yeah, I just found a few things. What else over here? So yeah, again, I've been using this Denon triple CD player. It's a nice little bookshelf system. There's Jerome the giraffe. He's like, you forgot about me, Mike. Let me out of this box. So there he is, right there. My paper mache friend. And yeah, what else is over here? That's it. Oh yes, of course, I have to warn you for safety reasons. It's a blasting zone, right? Blast off. You know what I'm talking about. So anyway, yeah, I was listening to some CDs this week. And going through a bunch of old photos. So I found in one box, it was a bunch of old photos, and I went through them all. And here's my shirt. So I actually have some shirts. I had another box. It was just full of t-shirts. So I'll do it tomorrow. So Patty saw this and she said, "You mean paint?" And I said, "Yes. What else would I do on a Saturday? I'm going to do some painting." But right now it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. Cheers. Get into it. There you go. Yeah. Hey, Jerome back there. There he is. All right. So what did we do this week? Well, listen to some CDs. All right. So I kind of set them aside, kind of like playlist of what did I listen to this week kind of thing. So I lit myself a little psychedelic Sunday. Speaking of having a blast, Joe Cocker, Mad Dogs and Englishmen, this live tour. Not sure of the year. This late 60s, 1969, 1970 maybe. Of course, on this one, you got Leon Russell in the band, and it's a bunch of others. It's a pretty all-star lineup. But yeah, it kicks off with a great cover version of Honky Tonk Women. Check it out. There's Joe down in the front. He's doing some flex. All right, showing off his guns. All right. So pretty good CD repackaging here. Beautiful liner notes on this one. It's funny, like this week, I'm like, some of the CDs, like in the 90s, these reissues, really well done, you know? And I wouldn't have paid a super huge price for this. Probably 15 or 20 bucks at HMV up in Toronto. New that would have been. Yeah, so they're, of course, on A&M Records. So yeah, really good one. I'm not a huge Joe Cocker guy, but if you're going to get a Joe Cocker one, skip the greatest hits and get this because, again, all-star lineup. Don't ask me to name who else was in this band. But it's just a really good live concert, and they're Mad Dogs and Englishmen. So it wouldn't be a little week with eclectic taste without some jazz for Gary over at Physical Format. God, I just switched to menthol, like I say. There we go. So yeah, it's Lee Morgan, the Sidewinder here. Who else is on this, playing on this? You got Barry Harris on piano, Bob Crenshaw on bass, Billy Higgins on drums, and the late, great Joe Henderson on tenor sax. So anyway, there's a song in here dedicated to Gary. It's called Gary's Notebook. But yeah, the title track, The Sidewinder, and Totem Pole, both of those clocking in at over 10 minutes. Really great. Just cool bop, chill. It's not crazy prog jazz. Gary, who doesn't do that. Or free jazz, fusion jazz, where they're just going in all these different directions. Gary likes to keep it smooth, and so do I. Sidewinder, Lee Morgan. Speaking of some jazz, rock too, though. It's Cindy Blackman Played alongside Lenny Kravitz, was his drummer for 18, 20 years, something like that. She was a band leader on her own in the jazz world. And on this one from, I want to say this is 1998. Yes, that's the release on this one. She's leading the charge here. Son of John Coltrane, Ravi Coltrane playing tenor saxophone on this. Someone named Jackie Terrison on piano, not familiar. And the great, not late great, he's still around, Ron Carter on bass. Really, this is outstanding. If you've ever heard the song by Lenny Kravitz, Are You Gonna Go My Way? Unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you have. That's her playing drums, and she's just killer. And the music video for that is really awesome because you see Cindy just pounding the skins, doing her thing. But yeah, she's had a long, extensive career. And then around 2010, she married Carlos Santana and now played drums for Carlos. So I saw Carlos 3 times in the 1990s. I'd love to see him again while he's still alive. And I will for sure if they come around Buffalo because Cindy Blackman's playing drums. So anyway, it's called In the Now. Look up the title track for that. It's amazing. It's all instrumental. But yeah, she's just killer on the drums, man. This one, I'm going to talk about cruise ships in a minute. So this one popped up. This guy we met, Nestor Santorio. He was from somewhere in South America. I'm not sure. Might have been Peru. Could have been Ecuador. One of those two. I do recall it was one of those two, but I can't say for sure. Doesn't matter. This is about 10 years ago. We were on a celebrity cruise line. It's not a boat full of celebrities. Well, I was on it. But anyway, we were going from New Jersey down to Bermuda, and he was like playing at this Sunset bar at the back of the ship. There's always a bar at the back, kind of like a tiki bar on celebrity cruises. Most ships have actually, when I think at the back, they have that kind of tiki bar set up off the pool. And he was playing most nights, and he was just doing his flamenco thing. Very entertaining guy. And he does a version of, what is it on here? Hotel California in flamenco. And it's really funny because he has his machine with the fake cat playing the fake castanets and the maracas. I could have joined in, but I didn't bring my maracas with me on that cruise. Speaking of my maracas, a maracas update. They're buried in these boxes up here somewhere. It could be anywhere. Mystery box. Could be in one of those boxes, or it could be in a box downstairs. But either way, I'll be seeking out the maracas. They'll seek me out, right? I'll be inspired. So this is a band kind of mixed feelings with. I was never in love with Fish. I was in love with the party scene because I saw them twice. I went to see them. I saw them at Lake Placid, whatever that hockey rink there is. That was December of 1995. And then the following summer, went to Plattsburgh, New York, and there was this thing called the Clifford Ball. It was an Air Force base that had been closed down, and they were having special events there. They had this weekend, 2 days of Fish. When you drove in, you camped, you couldn't get in and out. It was impossible. So parked the car, plan on staying there till Sunday, which is what we did. And that was about a 2 or 3 hour car ride. I was living in Brockville at the time, Eastern Ontario. So that, yeah, again, 1996. So anyway, this album came out in 1992. It's called Rift. I want to say it's their 5th album. So Fish are a jam band, if you're not familiar with them, from Burlington, Vermont, here in the U.S. It's kind of like when I mentioned I was making fun of jazz, like fusion and shit like that. They're a jam band, not a jazz band, a jam band. So they can be annoying. But this album actually has structure. The songs have beginnings, middles, and ends. So I really actually, it's called Rift. And it's my favorite Fish album. I only have 4 or 5 studio albums. Again, they're more of a live band. Actually, I might have a few examples here because I was in the Fish section. The peas are buried. Oh, no, they're not. Yeah, here they are. So, yeah, so here, well, this is the follow-up to this. It's called Hoist after Riff. But they did this show New Year's Eve, 95. So I saw them at Lake Placid. I want to say it was right before the New Year's Eve show. I saw them it was on the 27th, 28th in Lake Placid, New York. And then they went and played Madison Square Garden and did this. This is a triple disc set. And here's one that came out a couple years before. It's called a live one. It's a double live. So anyway, this one, if you want to look up a great ballad, it's called Fast Enough for You. It kicks off the album. The album kicks off with Rift, and that leads into Fast Enough for You, and then into Lengthwise, which is a pretty amusing tune, and then Maze. I mean, yeah, the songs are a little jammy, but again, they have structure, and again, there's a beginning and a middle and an end. It's not, you can kind of see where it's going, like it's going somewhere, right? Not nowhere, like everybody's doing their thing. It's not like that at all. Anyway, it's Rift. I'm going on and on. Jump on the Rift and check it out. Here's a classic. If you don't know it, you should. It's the Allman Brothers. It's the complete Fillmore concerts from 2 shows called from March 12th, March 12th and March 13th, 1971 in New York City at the Fillmore East. Like I said, just a really outstanding. This is a 1992 release. Comes with this beautiful booklet. It's kind of a box set, like Steve over there has for Alice. He'd approve of it because it comes with a book and it's in a box. So it's technically a box set. And it's a set because there's more than one thing here. There's 2. There's disc 2, as a matter of fact. So anyway, if you wanted to look up a great one on this, I was in the zone listening to this last night in memory of Elizabeth Reed, clocking in at over 12 minutes. Brilliant, brilliant instrumental tune right there. There's the guys. A lot of them are dead now, but I got to see them a few times, a different incarnation of the band. Some members would come and go by that point in the 90s. And the last time I got to see them was out in Mansfield, Massachusetts. And that would have been back when we first moved to the States, actually. That was back in 2006. I saw them out in Mansfield. So that was the last show that I saw. I still have that tour shirt, but it's buried somewhere. We'll get to that. So many shirts. Lastly, some more jazz for Gary over at Physical Format. Keith Jarrett somewhere before, right? He was somewhere before. So this is 1969. This is a CD reissue from 1981. This was originally released in 1969 as Vortex 212 right there. So anyway, nice record here. This little busted up here. If you wanted to look up one on here, there's a Bob Dylan cover. He does an instrumental version of Bob Dylan's My Back Pages, and that kicks the whole thing off. And it's the Keith Jarrett Trio. It's got Charlie Hayden on bass, who's really, really amazing bass player, and some guy named Paul Motion on drums. Not familiar, but this is a really nice, and Keith Jarrett, of course, is a piano player, and he's leading this trio here, and they're going somewhere before, and that's Keith. So anyway, it's time for another slideshow. These are actual photos. So I found a bag full of old photos, and I mentioned cruise ships earlier. My man Nestor Santorio. Yeah, I'm going to get into that. A little special edition here. Take you way back in the MGK life. So yeah, we'll get to that. Anyway, yeah, so we got married, Patty and I. There we are with, that was with her aunt and uncle right there. Her aunt's still with us. Sadly, Uncle Don is not. So there we are right there, looking good. And yeah, so that was our wedding day. And then we went on a cruise, right? So that's leading into that. That's a little segue. So for our honeymoon, we did an East Caribbean cruise, flew down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, jumped on a ship, cruised around the East Caribbean. And that was on a Holland America cruise. We've done a bunch of cruises since. Love going on cruises. It's like a floating hotel. And if you get a nice suite, you know, and don't go low budge with the inside cabin, just get it, you know, get the butler and all that shit going on. It's really nice. So with all the air miles with the business travel, we're able to sometimes parlay that into getting a bump up, you know, in a nicer cabin. So we did that. But on our honeymoon, we had a nice cabin. So anyway, yeah, there we are on the cruise. So we met this other couple. They were from New York City, and they were on their 10th anniversary cruise. And I remember thinking, wow, 10 years is a long time. But here we are. We're in our 22nd year, man. So we're still doing it. And yeah, feeling the love. So cannot remember their names for the life of me, but we hung out with them all that week. I had the guy's business card. This was before we had smartphones and all that. I didn't even have a cell phone at that point, I don't think. And so you know, his business card went through the wash, and we weren't able to keep in touch. So it was too bad. But there they are, a nice looking couple. There we are in the bar on the ship, and this was on a formal night on the cruise. There's Patty, and of course, again, I don't remember their names. The couple. He was a Greek guy, really neat dude. Here we are on the same night, formal night. Patty and our friend, who shall remain unnamed. There I am with his wife, also unnamed. And yeah, so anyway, there a few years before, younger Mike, I was probably about 21. I was on a ferry going over to Victoria, British Columbia. I could have went to see Jack over at the Vinyl Martini, but I didn't know him yet, so I was just doing that. I was with a buddy of mine, Renee. He's from lives in Vancouver, so we were going over to Victoria. And then speaking of Patty, here I am having dinner with my in-laws at some restaurant. That was probably right around when we got married. Yeah, so there they are, Howard and Bonner. So yeah, and then back to another pre-Patty. This is when I was working in Toronto. I only worked in Toronto for about 2 years when I came out of university. Moved to Toronto from Ottawa, and I met these people. I lived in this area called the Beaches. and they were nightlifers, used to go to a lot of the same clubs. So there we are. I'm wearing a cool shirt, and I'm hitting the clubs. So yeah, we were hitting the town. That would have been around 1992, right? I can't remember this guy's name was Jeff, but I don't know who all these other people are. But anyway, we're clearly getting ready to rip it up on probably a Saturday night in Toronto. So anyway, that's gonna do it on a Friday. Cheers. I'll do it tomorrow. So cheers to you wherever you are. Yeah, so anyway, things are coming along, and eventually, you know, a couple months from now, I'll be doing a room tour video with all the stuff back where it should be. I'm getting ideas. The good thing about living in a place for a little bit like this and getting settled, you can kind of live in it for a while, live in the space, figure it out, you know, and figure out where things are going to go. It's kind of like when embryonic robot, embryonic fashion, I wanted to give an update on his fashion stuff that he's up to. So I don't have any slides for this week, but I'm going to have a couple for next week. He's coming out with a kind of a semi-formal men's collection for all those fancy holiday parties that you want to go to. So it's a really, really cool line. And Brian shared some information with me, but I got too much to cram into this video, so I'm going to save some of that for next video. So there's a teaser, right? Embryonic fashion icon. Always up to neat things over there in Toronto at his hub of fashion, right? When he did the renovations in his house, he's actually got a hallway, and it's almost like like a runway in Paris where people can model and go up and down the hall. So anyway, yeah, Brian will be doing it, his new fashion line, and it's coming. So anyway, again, I'll share some of that with you. But anyway, finally, it's a Friday. Cheers. Let's wrap it up, and we'll see you in the next video.